Us before the awards.
This is b4Nashville Live. Have a question for a guest?
Send it to us via Messenger.
Here's your host, George Davis.
And welcome back to Before Nashville, where we introduce the country stars of tomorrow to the country fans of today. Joining me tonight, she's out to prove that country music and the great country music of the 90s is not just for those in the South. And I'll let you know why coming up here in 30 seconds, so just hang out.
Before Nashville is proudly sponsored by Go-Go Tuners, the go-to tuner for professional and amateur musicians. Get your Go-Go Tuner at gogotuners.com. By Heart to Heart Coffee, the coffee that gives back. Find out more at heart2heartcoffee.com. By Sibby's Apparel, worn by heroes, made with respect. Order yours at sibby'sapparel.com. And by Three Rangers Whiskey, not for the weak or faint-hearted. ThreeRangers.com.
I did have to apologize to my guest tonight because she's waiting in the green room and I did not stock it. So, Noelle, I'm sorry.
I know. Where am I? I only want orange M&Ms. I'm so bummed.
Well, now, I do have Three Rangers whiskey here. I don't know if you're a whiskey drinker or not. But
I am. That looks tasty.
It is very good. I will say that. And they don't pay me to say that. And they don't even supply me with the bottles. I have to buy my own bottles. So, Mark, Dale, Clay, all you guys, y'all need to start sending me bottles for promoting you.
Oh, the horror. Well, can you have some for me and I can just live vicariously through you?
You know what? I can do that. I can do that. Maybe. I don't even think I have a glass in here.
Well, you don't need a glass to drink out of the bottle.
That's right. I'll just drink out of the bottle. Nobody else drinks out of it anyway but me. So what difference does that make, right? And even if they did, who cares?
Yeah.
Whiskey's whiskey. So how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah. I'm in Nashville. Yeah. It's weird. The weather here is so all over the place. They say, you're not in Nashville, are you?
No, I'm in Missouri. I'm close enough to Nashville. I'm about 4 hours. I'm in southeast Missouri, Cape Girardeau.
Okay. I've been there once.
Oh, yeah?
I was flying to St. Louis to surprise my best friend for her birthday. And as we were descending, the tornado struck Lambert Airport. And we could watch it. Like we were watching the whole, thing go down and there's lightning everywhere. And everyone's like, what's going on? So the pilot was like descending. He's like, okay, we're going to land. And then we feel the whole plane starts going back up. And we're like, I don't think we're going to land. And it happened a couple times. He tried to land and he came back up. And then he's like, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be landing in Kansas City. And so we had to they had to bus us all the way there. And wow. But it was fun. I mean, it was an adventure.
I remember when the tornado hit Lambert, as a matter of fact, it knocked out a lot of glass. Yeah, it was not very good. That was a pretty bad. I think that turned out to be I want to say an EF3 maybe that hit. So it did quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, I mean, it was scary looking from the sky to see that. It was just.
I can't imagine. Oh my gosh, that is so crazy.
But I end up really liked my time in St. Louis. So it was a good trip, but it was kind of wild, and that was my experience there. But I need to come back.
Yeah. St. Louis is great. We're about 2 hours south of there. We're about almost halfway between Memphis, Tennessee, and St. Louis.
Okay.
On Interstate 55. So it's a nice little college town. So makes for a fun time, quite honestly. And then I commute back and forth to work.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so not too bad. It's about a 30-minute commute.
Oh, that's not bad.
No. I mean, it's pretty good by Nashville standards,
Yeah, well, I lived in LA, and that was bad.
Oh, yeah. No.
Sometimes I'd be in traffic for an hour and a half, and it was just, this is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. You spend so much time in your car, and that was bad. So Nashville's got nothing on LA, but Nashville's getting, I moved here about a year and a half ago, So
Oh, wow.
I'm relatively new. I love it here. But yeah, the traffic around rush hour can be pretty bad.
Yeah,
But I don't know. Yeah.
we love going to Nashville. We just love it. I mean,
Okay.
it's like our second home. If I could afford to buy a home down there,
Yeah, I know.
I would.
It blew up. So
Yeah.
where are your favorite spots?
And Nashville, um, let me think. We don't do Broadway a whole lot.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll walk down Broadway during the day,
Mhm.
but Old Red is probably if we go into anywhere on Broadway, it's usually Old Red.
Yeah. I like
Um, we've been to Winners one time, and it was so crowded in the middle of the week. We were like, no,
I
no,
know.
not gonna do it.
Yeah.
Um, but we like that. Of course, we have to go into the boot stores, and
Oh, have you been to the 3 for 1?
yes.
Okay, when I visited my first time here, I was like, I love a good bargain, I love a good sale. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, 3 for 1? I have," and I just went wild. And I was all over the store. I'm like, "How long does this last?"
Yeah.
The guy's like, he like looked at me like I looked like some, fresh off the boat. Like, who is this annoying chick? He doesn't. It goes year round. And I was like, oh, so it's like a marketing. I'm like, how do they? But I was like, how are these boots so affordable? Because they were like really good brands. I got
Mhm.
it's RTS or something.
Area
Yeah,
area.
Ariel.
Yeah.
Great pair of those, and I've had them, a couple of years now, and they're just like amazing. But it was
Yeah.
so funny. So I was like, oh, I have to get like 6 pairs.
The last time we were there was in February, and we went in there, and that was really the first time in a long time down there we had been. And we go in, and I find a pair that I wanted. I was looking for some round toe. All the boots I have are square toes, and I was looking for
Mhm.
a pair of round toe boots, and I found a pair that I liked, and so I bought them. And my wife found 2 pairs of boots that she liked, and so I
So
bought them.
perfect. So that works out perfectly.
Yeah, and then we got the 4th pair for only $64. My wife is watching tonight, by the way.
Oh, hi. Is this her, Lisa?
Yep.
Hi,
And,
Lisa.
our other favorite spot, she reminded me, is Casa Rosa. We
Oh, I
like to go
haven't
there.
been there yet.
It was we didn't go upstairs, we stayed down on the 1st level, but it was really nice.
Mm.
This is the reason, okay? If we ever
Oh.
decide. She's making me sound like the woman in the relationship.
No,
I
but
mean, you know,
behind every great man is a real great woman. So
right.
Lisa's a keeper.
And she's like, "Hello?"
I love it. She's calling you out. You need that.
Right. That's right. She keeps me in check.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I mean, right now we're experiencing when I came home this evening, it was 70 degrees.
Okay.
And then the last 3 days, it's been 100 and plus.
Same.
Yeah.
It's been 90s several days in a row, and then today it was like it's just decides it's winter or like really like late
Yeah.
fall.
Yeah. Well, today's the first. Well, actually, yeah, it's fall now. As of 8:04 tonight, it was
Oh,
fall. So,
really?
yeah, we're in fall now.
Wow.
Yeah. So Mother Nature had her timing right tonight. My wife
Lisa,
is she is putting me on blast tonight, isn't she?
you're going for it. I love it. Keep them coming.
She'd be doing that all night long. But no, we love to go there, and then we've trying to think. When we go down, a lot of times it's for country radio seminar.
Mhm.
And so we have, we don't really get to check out a lot of places because we're so busy running from point A to point B to point C and everywhere
Mhm.
else. But we stayed an extra day last year, extra day and a half last year, or this past February. So we could be tourist, you
Yeah.
know.
Oh, that's
So
fun.
we went down on Saturday, and then I have a cousin. He and his wife live down there, and we met them for brunch on Sunday, and
Hmm.
then came back and headed back up here. And she's upstairs. She says, "I'm upstairs having a blast."
I love it.
Yeah. She doesn't normally. She's not usually that vocal when I do these podcasts.
I love it. She's feeling the spirit. She's like, I'll just talk about visiting Nashville. She's like, I
Yeah,
wanna go back.
she's ready to go back. We both are. We miss a lot. Like I said, if I could afford a house, it's just my cousin's wife is in real estate, and
Uh-huh.
she's like, "No, you really don't want to buy a house down
It's
here."
insane. Like
And I
everyone
sure
told
don't
me,
now because the freaking interest rates went up to about 6% or about to, and there's no way. I mean, good grief.
I know.
That's
I try to
crazy.
I try to just think about the positives in life.
The positive in life is we have a home,
Exactly.
and it's not 6%.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a lot below that, but it's not 6%.
Yeah. Try
And
just try to look at the
so
bright side.
and I know one of your favorite things about Nashville, and I'm going to come back and we'll talk about that later. I'm not
Okay.
getting into it right now because I know one of your favorite things about Nashville. Um, Tell me about growing up in Oregon, though.
Yeah, I grew up in a small town called North Plains. Population as of now is around 2,000. Um, we grew up. I'm an only child, so I grew up out in the country. I spent a lot of time trying to entertain myself alone.
Hmm.
Um, and wait, Lisa, I could say I will be quiet, but I will be, yeah. I love her. She's so funny. She needs to be your guest host. Where
I
is she?
know.
Come on.
I've thought about doing that and just setting up another mic and having her come down and let's do it together because it's a lot of fun. We have a blast every time we go to Nashville. People think that we're both because I'm in radio and they
Mhm.
think we're both in radio. We even got approached by somebody with one of the big syndication companies, and we were just goofing off in a beer line waiting to go in to see a showcase.
Uh-huh.
And she was like, "Do you guys do a morning show?" I was like,
Really?
"No." And she's like, "You should."
I love it. So you guys can banter back and forth pretty
Oh,
well.
yeah. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
that's such a lovely thing to have.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys are kinda kindred spirits. She's an only child as
You
well.
are?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. I mean, Lisa, did you ever really want to have siblings or feel like I'm talking to maybe a ghost? Sorry, George. Forget you.
Hey, honey, come on down. You just take over. I've got the questions up on the screen. You can ask.
Sorry. I mean, yeah, as an only child, I always wanted, there was like, yes, see, I was always kind of like, I really want someone to play with. So my parents got me a dog, um, who was my best friend. I have a really funny story about the North Plains police officer and the dog, by the way.
Okay.
It just reminded me of this because, like, my dog was my best friend because I was an only child. We grew up in the country, so I was around a lot of,
Right.
like, if my parents had friends over, I was around a lot of adults. But my dog was like, that was just, we were buddies. And so one day, I was like 3 years old. I used to play teacher, like with my dog, and I would sing. I would put on performances around the house, and I'd do dress up and do little shows for my dog and my parents.
Mhm.
But one time I picked up, we had this rotary phone. I picked it up. I was like, okay, class, this is how you dial 911. I picked up the phone. I dialed 911. And my dog's just sitting there staring at me and kind of going, this is fun. Like, he's just with me. He'll do whatever he's my buddy. He'll do whatever. So I'm on the phone. And so the 911 answers. And I hear something. I'm like, no one's supposed to answer. And I just slammed the phone down. And we like locked eyes and we were like, okay, we had some unspoken like language. We're like, we're not going to say anything. So we like looked at each other and we like left the room. And like literally not even 5 minutes later, there's a knock on the door, and we live out in the country. So my parents are like, who the hell is at the door? It's a cop. And I see the cop, and I freeze, and I run all the way to my bedroom, and I hide under my bed. And Max, my dog, like a moment later comes in and crawls into the bed with me. So we're like partners in crime. We're like, oh no, we got caught. So we're hiding under there, and we're like we're both looking at each other. I'm like, what do we do? So anyway, my parents ended up like, Noelle, can you come out? And I was like, no. Like, Noelle, come on, you're not in trouble. Come out. And I came, and so I finally, Max and I, my dog, we like got out, and the cop was pissed because he was just, it was like it wasted his afternoon or whatever. And so they just told me to say sorry, and I was just like, I'm really sorry. So my dog and I were just, it was like we were in it together, and we kind of like looked at each other, we're like, we're sorry. But my dad was like, hey, at least she knows what to do in case of an emergency. So that was North Plains, my little small town. That was my my little story from my first and my only encounter with the cops. I'll say that.
So did they put your picture up like around and say, something to the effect of beware of this young lady?
They should have. This 3-year-old, she's a menace to society.
Right. Oh my gosh, that is awesome. That's such a good story.
It is really funny. It makes me laugh.
I don't think Lisa has one like that, but she very well could. I don't know. She hasn't told me a lot about her very early years. I mean, we've known each other for years, but
how long have you guys been together?
We've been together for 10 years.
Oh wow.
No, let me take that back.
Lisa's gonna come down with her frying
we've been together for 12 years. We've been married for 5. It'll be 6 in October.
Oh, happy anniversary.
Thank you.
That's
So
lovely.
I hope I got that right. If I don't, I'm about to find out.
Yeah. It's gonna be a knock on your door now.
Right. They should just come in.
Yeah.
It should be like, don't you, can you not remember this? It's like, yeah, I can, really, I promise.
Yeah, that's so funny.
But no, we have a blast and all. So, oh yeah, she had to throw that in there. A month from today.
Exactly today. So it's
yeah.
So it's October 22nd.
Yep, that's the day we got married. Yep.
Oh, that's lovely. Well, happy anniversary, you guys.
Well, thank you. And we I mean, she's learned my crazy life. Being in radio is not easy for one person, let alone when you have a spouse. So, but I don't do all the moving, or well, I've moved to a few stations since we've been together, but not like, a whole lot like I do know some people that have, but but no, so when you were growing up, I mean, how did music get to be in your life?
Yeah, I started singing, I can't really remember when I didn't sing. So that old adage of I was singing before I could talk is true in so many ways. But I started when I got into kindergarten, we had chorus, and I really loved it. I was like, oh, I love this. I love this. This is great. I had so much fun with it. And then when I was 5, I did a talent show, and I got on my stage for the first time, and I was like, I'm hooked. And my parents they played a lot of records at home. Like, my dad was really into soul music. So there was a lot of Al Green, James Brown. And then my mom was into singer-songwriter. So like James Taylor, Carly Simon. And then, but I grew up on country radio. Mm-hmm. So in my town growing up, it was 99.5 The Wolf and 98.7 Couple Country. And I just loved it. Like that was just my music. I just was obsessed with it. And then I ended up getting into musical theater, and which I just fell in love with. And then when I was 15, I went to Berklee College of Music in Boston for a summer. I did their 5-week summer camp. And that was the first time and that's like the Harvard of music. So, and I was super young compared to everyone else that was there. Everyone else was at least 5 years older than me. And there was so much talent there, and it was really inspiring, and also just like, whoa, how does music work? Like, that was the first time I really got into learning the mechanics of theory and harmonizing and songwriting, learning more of the structure of songwriting. And so I've always loved music. But one thing about me is I've always when I sing, I feel closer to God. And that might sound weird to say, but it's like, it's when I'm in a state of flow and like nothing can touch me. I'm one with the universe, and all is well in the world. And that singing, especially behind a microphone, I just, and the first time that happened when I was a kid, it was just like, I knew this is what I want to do. And my parents aren't musical. They love music and appreciate it. And we're always so supportive of me pursuing, whatever I wanted to. And, and always were, trying to help me facilitate a learning atmosphere so that I could, grow as an artist. And but it was I really always just gravitated towards country music. And like when I was a kid, it was Trisha Yearwood, Shania, Faith Hill. And then, you got Garth Brooks, Alan Jackson. There was just something authentic about it.
Right.
And it wasn't trying to be something it wasn't. And it was, I just loved it. I still love it,
Yeah, like that true country. I mean, that's kind of the way I look at that. No backing tracks, no snap tracks, none of that stuff. That was just, that's music. That's country music there.
And the
I probably
songwriting.
offended some people, but
Yeah, I know, right?
It won't be the first time, probably won't be the last.
Right? You got to stand for something, George.
That's right. Or you'll fall for anything.
Exactly.
See how that works?
Yeah. Yeah.
So who are some of the inspirations as far as the songwriting goes? Because you do write as well as sing.
Yeah, I've always been a writer. Ever since I, was a small kid, I would just write things, and prose and just all kinds of stuff. Because I really love just journal. I've always loved journaling and just writing, just to get my feelings out and to, try to make something cohesive out of what's going on in my head. And, but I really, when I moved to Nashville, I was like, okay, I just really need to hone my craft of songwriting.
Right.
And it's all about storytelling. And that's what everything in life is, storytelling. And like, I'm just like, I gotta get better. Like, I want to learn, I want to grow. And I started listening to a lot of Jimmy Webb. I also got his book, Tunesmith, which is amazing. He wrote Wichita Lineman, MacArthur Park. And I also just really studied the songs that I love, and really tried to dissect them and go, how does this work? Why do I love this so much? If it's so simple, but it hits me. Like, probably one of my favorite country songs of all time is "Don't Take the Girl," by Tim McGraw. And I love that song since I was a little kid. And I remember, I have so many memories of experiencing it, listening in the radio, in the car with my mom or my dad driving, and going, oh, like, it took you through this wave of emotions of a boy meeting a girl. And, he says, don't take the girl to his dad because he doesn't want her to go fishing with him because he doesn't want a girl to come. But then that same phrase, don't take the girl, like, translates into they're in a relationship, and he doesn't want someone to to kidnap her when he gets robbed. And then it comes into culminating into like her potentially losing her life and like, take me, but don't take her. And like, I just get chills just thinking about that song I love so much. And something so simple as a few words strung together that has different meanings and represents so many different things in a life. I mean, that's what I strive for, is to just be able to tell a story that way. And so I just want to keep getting better and better. And yeah, you know.
What is one song, or what is the song? Let me ask that, because sometimes I have, and I know it's probably more than one, but what is the song that you have just thought to yourself, damn, why did I not write that song?
Yeah. I mean, Don't Take the Girl. I was just talking about that, but I mean, it's transcendent. I think even if you don't like country music, you'd hear that song and you'd be like, whoa, that hits you.
Oh
It's
yeah.
it's um it's so moving. I've cried so many times when I hear that song because it's just it's so touching. Because the song's a journey. That's the thing. What I love about certain songs is there's a beginning, there's a middle, and an end. Like, you got to take the listener on a 3-minute ride.
Right.
And that song, I don't think there's another song I can think of spanning all genres, you know, that does that in that way of taking a relationship, using one phrase, but showing all different colors of a relationship and how something grew from nothing. And
Right.
it really it shows change in a really beautiful way. So that's, gosh, I'd be really proud of myself if I could write a song like that.
Just think about all the grown men that were like, the big burly guys that you would have made cry with that song, because I know there's a bunch of them.
I bet.
You know, especially if it comes to a dad. I mean, it's really hard. It's a hard song for me to listen to because I've got 2 girls, and it's really hard for me to listen to. And from a dad's perspective, you think about kind of the same thing, and you hope that your daughter winds up with the kind of guy that would tell, somebody holding a gun,
Mhm.
shoot me, don't hurt her,
Mhm.
shoot me instead. And then at the end say, you know, God take me,
Yeah.
don't take her, take me. And so as a dad, I kind of look at it from that aspect too, and just how amazing of a song it is. Just like you say, I mean, from beginning to end, it's just that whole, it's like it's almost like a novel in 3 minutes. Like you said, it's
Totally.
got, the beginning, the middle, and the end, just like you write a book,
Mhm.
and it's all in 3 minutes. And um just phenomenal. And I have to say, and I'm really embarrassed that I don't know the writers on that
I
song.
know. I forget his name, but I read an interview that he had done. Let me,
Find out real quick.
yeah, Craig Martin and Larry W. Johnson.
Yeah.
I forget which one of those gentlemen did this interview, but he was saying how like that phrase had come to him, and he went home and he was like talking with his wife or girlfriend at the time about it, and then it kind of came together. But
Yeah.
I just think songwriting is kind of like you just gotta listen. Like, you can't really force anything. Like, there's a craft to it, and you have to hone the
Right.
craft, and you have to, work hard at it and get better. but there's also this element of like letting go and like letting it flow. And I think there's a higher power with songs like that are so magical. Like they come from a higher place.
Right.
And I think a lot of successful songwriters will say similar things like that. There's sometimes people are like, it came through me. I'm a conduit.
Right. Exactly.
So when I moved here and I was like, all right, I set out to do a 4-track EP with 3 originals, 1 cover. And I was like, okay, I just got to get really good. And so I moved here and I didn't have any furniture. I had this little boy's shark beanbag chair that I got at Target in Brentwood off I-65. And I just sat in this chair with my notebook and was like, okay, I'm just going to sit and flow and just write. And I wrote all my lyrics in that little beanbag chair. And I like to call it my little magic beanbag chair, like magic beanstalk.
Yeah.
My cousin Vinny.
Right. Your personal magic treehouse right there.
Yeah. But I would sit and I would, things that would come to me, I'm like, oh, wow, that works. Or, oh, that felt really good. So yeah, I think, and I was talking about this with a songwriter friend yesterday, how her daughter had told her, Mom, like she's a songwriter, and then her daughter was like, Mom, just, you got to listen. And she was like pressed for time. She was trying to finish an album. And like that weekend, she was like, okay. So anyway, she just started listening and she ended up writing it like 2 times as fast as she thought she could. So
Wow.
I think there's something about relinquishing, your control over the creative process that will lend itself to like really great, amazing stuff.
Right. It's not creative if you have to force it.
No.
So it's like if that's the point, then get up and walk away, give it some time, come back, revisit, whatever. I'm not a songwriter. I can give you titles all day long, but I'm not
But
a
you're
songwriter.
so right. You're so right. The best ideas I get are when I'm doing laundry, I'm washing dishes, I'm doing mundane tasks, I'm eating. For some reason, I get a lot of ideas and I love to eat. So I don't know if that's a great thing or not. But like, because I'm just like, my subconscious is free, but I'm just my other part of my brain is like active doing something. So I have access to something else. But that's when I get really great ideas. And I'm like, oh, they say like if you're problem solving, you got to like go to sleep to give your subconscious a problem to solve. And a lot of times in the morning you'll wake up and like, oh, that's how to solve that.
Right.
Forcing
I can't
something
do that till after the first cup of coffee. So
I do. I'm like that too. I need my coffee.
yeah. And I mean, it's like I said, I don't know. I've learned a lot about songwriting in the last 2 years that I've done this podcast. I will admit that because I've learned the process and how Nashville has its own little way of doing things as compared to other places, and how that works. And it's really different. I mean, you think about like all the different genres. You think about Nashville, they have their certain process, but then you get to like grunge rock, and stuff from Seattle, they didn't think about that, they just did it. They
Yeah.
just wrote out words, and 9 times out of 10 it was because it was a drug induced out of body experience.
Yeah.
And then pop music, they're and it's for me personally, I know there's stories in some of that, but I can't find the storyline. Now, country music, I can find the storyline in the bulk of it, but for me, like pop music, I can't even find the storyline, let alone follow it.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah,
that's
it's
why
true.
I'm so into country.
Yeah, no, it is true. I can't think of any. I mean, I love pop music. Like I grew up you know, and then you know, it was like Britney Spears and Backstreet, and I loved all that. I love all that stuff. But like in terms of storytelling, I can't really give you any great examples off the top of my head. And so yeah, it's like that's where country music is just it's just the cream of the crop of songs with stories.
Right.
With
Right.
these, you know, like
And
fancy and
love
like
some re-
I know. Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing. That's why I love country music so much, is the stories.
right. Lisa gave you a name and a suggestion.
Jessie Ritter, she travels to me. Oh, I'll look her up. Let me write that down.
Yeah, she lives in Florida and travels back and forth to Nashville. She's actually going to be here performing Saturday.
Oh, cool.
And she's a personal friend of ours. I mean,
Oh, that's awesome.
Lisa's I'm going to tell you that you guys are really going to become great friends. She's a licensed massage therapist.
Oh, okay, Lisa, we're BFFs now.
And she loves wine, and
Well,
she
me
loves
too.
whiskey.
I love it all.
She is. So I mean, she loves to drink, and I mean, she's not like an alcoholic, but she just enjoys a good drink. How's
Oh,
that?
I do too.
Uh,
I don't discriminate.
right. So I need to make sure that I clarify that so that I don't get into trouble. There you go.
When you
There's
guys
a
come
little
to Nashville,
handbook.
we'll have to go out and get some drinks and some Nashville hot chicken.
I knew that was coming. I knew it. Oh my word! And that was the thing I was going to bring up.
I knew I had a feeling. It's so
Yeah,
good.
I got to admit, okay.
Uh-oh.
This is I got to put my big boy pants on when it comes to hot things
Mhm.
anymore, because I have matured. Um, I see.
I'm asking.
I
You can't
don't
do
do
it?
it. I can't.
Can you do
I
mild?
I don't know if I can do the mild Nashville chicken. When we were down there in February, we had a friend of ours who was he was a ranger, and he was depicted in the movie Black Hawk Down.
Okay.
And we worked with him on another project that we have, and so it was kind of a publicity travel for him, and he had to try it. Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Uh-oh.
he went out, he got the chicken, he came back. We were at a showcase, I think, or a couple of showcases, and he was still out with some of his ranger buddies that were down around Clarksville and down in there. So he left the chicken that he had gotten, and he got
Uh-oh.
like
Hot.
like the dumbest cluck chicken, whatever they call
Uh-oh.
that.
Yeah, I
You
can't do that.
And he got some other stuff, and he was like, "Don't touch that one." Don't put an oath like that on anything around me, because I'm gonna do it. So I take my finger and I got some of the coating,
Yeah.
the on my finger.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
You're like hot.
I'm going like,
Yeah.
It
It's
was
no
just-
joke. It's hot. It's so hot.
I beat up under my eyes, like sweat under my eyes. It looks like
Yeah.
I'm crying.
Yeah.
And Lisa makes fun of me about it all the time. As a matter of fact, we went out last night and went to our favorite Mexican restaurant,
Mhm.
and I was having the chips and salsa, and sometimes the salsa can be a little spicy,
Yeah.
and it had me like beating up. So yeah, that's her. That was what he put on the note. If you
It
try that,
probably would. It probably would.
So it's like, oh wow.
So
Just like, okay.
my mom's from Louisiana, so I grew up with like I like to say I came out of the womb with a ball of Tabasco. I love spicy, but there's the hot chicken here. You can't go like Prince's is the original.
Uh-huh.
You can't go above medium. It's painful. So there's no it's like why are you putting yourself through pain? You can't even taste it. It's like you're literally having a cardio session while you're eating this. You're like, okay, I'm sweating. Your heart rate goes up. It's literally a cardio session. And then at that point, it's like there's no like why? Why?
Right.
It's just like you're just wasting calories because you're not enjoying it. So just go down to the medium and call it a day.
Your taste buds shut down and they're like, no, we're not doing this anymore.
It's
They
like
just
what you
close off.
experience. It's like this is not fun. It's
Yeah.
really I don't know who can survive the hot stuff.
No, I don't either. Dale thought he could. He, like I said, he's a former Army Ranger, and so he thought he can really handle that. He's like, oh,
Yeah.
I can take it. I'm like, all right, you go right ahead. I've heard the stories, and that was the first time I ever got. I don't know if you call it brave or dumb.
Yeah. They're both
Enough.
the same sometimes.
Yeah, there are times where they coincide.
Yeah.
and tried that, and I'm just like, nope, ain't no way.
Well, you learned your limits.
I did. I did.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. Mine is like super freaking childish mild.
Yeah. There's no shame in that. There's no shame.
Yeah. I mean, I venture out sometimes, I will get brave and get something a little bit spicy occasionally, and I'm okay with that. But no, I don't think I can do that. And anybody that can, more power to you.
I do love plain old chicken tenders with
Mhm.
some ranch.
Yep.
Like that's what I love.
Yeah.
Chicken tenders.
That's
Pretty simple.
yeah, that's me. I can handle chicken tenders with like either sweet and sour sauce
Ooh.
or
I haven't had that in a while. Sweet and sour.
really. Oh,
Yeah.
I have to try that with chicken tenders.
That sounds
They have
really
to
good.
be, they can't be from that certain restaurant that has a letter up above it. I don't want to say it because I don't want to get
Oh, I
sued.
get you. I think I know where you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't have it with their little
That's
chicken.
the kind of sauce I remember liking though, with like
Yeah.
anyway.
The sauce is really good. It's just
Yeah.
the other is just not, it if you had that sauce with some real good chicken tenders,
Yeah.
it'd be perfect.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they haven't developed chicken tenders, but as opposed to what they have. But anyway.
Yeah. I think there's like a process of like using buttermilk, which makes the chicken moist inside,
Mhm.
and then frying because I really like textures with food.
Mhm.
And so having that crisp and then to offset, like, you have to have the moist because some fried or some of the hot chicken I've had, it was just like the chicken was just like jerky. Ooh,
Yeah.
Southwest, that sounds good.
See, she's got all the answers. I don't know why she's doing this from upstairs.
I know she needs to come down. She needs to have some of your whiskey and have some
Right.
for me.
Exactly. We just got done with dinner, so it's not like we're gonna go out and get any kind of. And we actually had chicken, so
Oh, you did? What'd you have?
we had rotisserie chicken.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah. So
I like rotisserie.
it's usually a good quick meal on Monday and Thursday nights when I'm doing the show.
Mhm.
And so with your writing and everything like that, I mean, and I mean, you said you've lived in Nashville how long? A year and a half?
Yeah, about I would say like 18 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you got into doing a lot of shows, or are you still focusing on writing and recording?
I just booked my first songwriter round on October 10th.
Oh,
My
wow.
first one. Yeah, I'm really excited.
Where's that one at?
It's at the Cambria Hotel, downtown Nashville. Yeah, I'm super excited. I kind of went about things differently, I guess, when I moved here. I wasn't really focused on trying to perform right away. I was like, I really need to get songs recorded so they're professional and I have something to show, because that's just really what I wanted to do. So all my energy was into getting the music done, and then it was like, okay, how do I get this to people? And so all of my energy had been really focused on that. And so now I'm like, I've been dying to perform, and so I'm so excited. So yeah, my first performance in like 2 weeks.
Oh, awesome. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, the writers rounds are a lot of fun.
Yeah, they are.
So, I mean, and there's so many places in Nashville to do that kind of stuff. Um,
Yeah, it's such a great community, the
oh yeah,
songwriter rounds. And I I've met so many amazing artists and songwriters from just going to them, not knowing anybody, and just going and introducing myself afterwards, and then, striking up friendships with people. That's the beautiful thing about Nashville, is the community here. Everyone's just really wants to help each other out and wants to, create. And it's been really inspiring and beautiful living here.
right, right. And it's a beautiful city. I mean, if you can look past the cranes and everything that they have around there right now, I mean, constantly building. Do you live in Nashville or do you live like outside of Nashville?
I'm like 15 minutes south of downtown. 15,
Okay.
yeah, south of downtown.
So where does that put you? See, that would be
I'm like near Brentwood and Oak
okay.
Hill area. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
get confused because like we have a friend that lives in Antioch and then
okay.
um
Yeah,
Brentwood.
Antioch's near
Over there.
the airport.
Yeah.
Super
Right.
convenient living there, I feel like.
Yeah,
Uh,
there's a restaurant there, and I cannot remember the name of it that we went to one time. It was like a family setting,
mhm.
and they put you at these long tables with people you don't know, and to strike
Yeah,
up conversations with them and stuff. And I don't remember the name of it, and my wife
that's
probably
funny.
will, and she'll pull up here on a minute. But a friend of ours that's in Nashville, she's actually a record promoter. She took us to that place. Yeah, Morel's, that's what it's called.
Morels. Okay, let me write that down. Was it good?
Oh, yeah, it was wonderful. I mean, it's like home cooking.
Oh,
Um, we
fun.
we went for breakfast, and it's like what it is, it's an old Southern mansion that they've turned into this restaurant,
Oh, wow.
and if I'm hoping it's still there, I don't know. But they set I mean, it's like a long super long table. You could probably get 20, 25 people around it, something like that,
Oh,
I
wow.
think.
And it's
And then
all banquet style?
yeah,
Oh.
yeah, they just
Mm,
sit down there and you talk, you get to know each other. It was great.
that's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, and the food was fabulous. Um, and so, I
What
mean,
kind of food do they have? Was it Southern?
yeah, it was just Southern home cooking. Like we got there for breakfast, so we had like, bacon and Southern style sausage, which has got a little bit more sage than normal, so it's got a little
Okay.
bit more kick. Uh, biscuits and gravy, and then I think they had fresh eggs and uh, hand hand juiced or hand squeezed orange juice. I mean, it was
Oh,
all
yeah.
like they were making it for their family, and
Yeah.
then it was just unbelievable. So
Oh, I'm
to
gonna have
really
to check that place out. I think I've heard it. I've that name sounds really familiar.
Yeah, I think there's 2 locations, but that was the original one.
Okay.
Um, so, let's see. Yeah, well, here, I'll let you see what my wife said there. Yeah.
Upstairs and see the old home setup. Oh, that's cool. Do you know when the house was built?
I don't know exactly. I know it was in the 1800s.
Okay.
and it had, I believe, some of the history. Well, there was some history tie into the Civil War, but I don't
Yeah.
remember what it was.
Yeah.
Whether it was, like a family that was significant in the war around there or something like that.
Mhm.
Um, my wife, I love it. She's
Oh,
such a
that's
hoot.
funny. I've been asleep since then.
Yeah, she is such a hoot.
That's
And
so
and honey, I hate to cut you off here, but
funny.
not telling you gotta go, but, we got a song to play first, and then we're gonna get
Oh,
into
yeah.
more talking. So, we have a song that is called, let me get back over here to my right buttons before I hit that because I'll hit something else. But the song is called, "Sun Will Rise,"
Mhm.
and we're gonna play that, and then we'll come back, and you can kinda give us a backstory on it. How's that?
Sounds good.
All right, so here we go. This is and now let me get something correct here
Mhm.
because do you do you go just I may have you mixed up with another artist. Do you go just by your first name or do you use first and last?
First and last, so Noelle Toland. Mhm.
Okay. So because I think I have another artist coming on and she goes just by her first name.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, Noelle Toland.
Yeah, all right. So here's Noelle Toland and this is called The Sun Will Rise and it's a you're just going to have to listen to it, okay? It's on Before Nashville. So you just got fired from your job. Feel like a zero and you're lost. You might not feel okay right now, 'cause it's hard to see the ups when you're feeling really down. Well, you only miss the sun when it's raining, and you only miss a smile when you're crying. So I wrote the song for you, 'cause I've been lonely too. As a little FYI, that a quarter's got two sides, and the moon will pass by, and the sun will rise. I've been told no so many times. The lesson zero and a cry. Well, it's okay to not feel okay now, 'cause that's how life goes, like a merry-go-round. Well, you only miss the sun when it's raining, and you only miss a smile when you're crying. So I wrote the song for me, to have for a memory, as a little FYI, that a quarter's got two sides, and the moon will pass by, and the sun will rise. Well, you only miss the sun when it's raining, and you only miss a smile when you're crying. So I wrote the song for us when the going gets rough. As a little FYI, that a quarter's got two sides, and the moon will pass by, and the sun will rise. Sunrise, it'll be alright. The sun will rise. All right, that is Noelle Toland, and Sun will get me back on the screen here. Let me on. There it
Oh,
goes. I got too many buttons here to push. Find the right one, apparently. So tell me about the song itself. It's a very good, uh, I guess, empowerment song.
Yeah, I started writing it in the middle of quarantine. I was still living in LA and going through a lot of emotions with how the world was, dealing with this sense of uncertainty and turmoil and upheaval, and I remember just trying to find some semblance of hope, um, and like in this just maelstrom of just negativity, and the world was just, it was just a weird place, like,
Right.
going to the grocery store and putting gloves on, like it was just and like make washing your clothes, like it was so weird, and everyone was paranoid. And so anyway, I was writing, and this idea of the sun and the moon, of being opposite sides of the same coin, really
Hmm.
struck with me. And I kind of started meditating on the phrase, "This too shall pass," and um, the night can't last forever. The dark times can't last forever. The sun just rises every morning, and I've gone through some pretty rough times myself, and have noticed that if I just you just kind of ride it out, dealing with it however you can, but then like when you breathe and sit through a difficult time, uh it ends up being okay, like things are okay. And like that notion of just the sun rises, it was just really a positive affirmation for me, and it got me through a lot. And writing that song was very cathartic for me, but also finishing it and having it as a, a product, a finished product to listen to, was cathartic as well, because it was a great reminder of what I had set out to create, which was, it's going to be okay. The sun will rise, the moon will pass by. Um, a quarter's got two sides. And there's that duality of life. Like you can't have light without the dark, because you wouldn't know what light is if you couldn't compare it to the dark. And so like having some of those undertones, those philosophical undertones to the song, I think, you know, I, I think gives it, some depth. But I wrote it just to get through some really dark periods, and it's the song of this EP that I have listened to more than any other, because
Right.
it reminds me, Noelle, everything's gonna be okay. And when I listen to the song, I'm like, okay, I've got this. Whatever I'm going through, I'm having a terrible day, if I'm having really bad anxiety, if I'm whatever I'm dealing with, that song's been a blessing for me. Um, and I'm just very grateful that it's that people can listen to it as well.
Right. Right. Now, the EP itself was written. I mean, you did all that in 2021.
Yeah, so I started with the idea for the song in 2020, and then moved here, and then in 2021, I got with my producer and we wrote the three originals. And so my writing process in that regard was like I wrote all the lyrics,
Mhm.
and would sing all the melodies, and can work with him, and he really helped make it what it is now. He's an amazing musician. Um, but yeah, that was my process. So it was very gradual. It wasn't like I'm going in today and I'm writing this song, and it's
Right.
kind of like sometimes with co-writes, it's like you go in and you can create a song in a couple hours. This was very gradual. Like I had notebooks and notebooks of notes and ideas, and and phrases and sentiments that I wanted to incorporate. So it was a very gradual process, these 3 songs.
Okay. Now, I saw one quote by you when I was reading through your bio, and this is what it said, and I wanted to address the last part of this sentence, okay? And you said, hopefully this record, well, it's not the last part of the sentence, I apologize. Hopefully this record, which I've long envisioned, inspires people to take chances and be bold. There's no
Mhm.
and in there. I'm sorry, I added that myself.
No.
But the thing that I focused in on the most, the one word that I focused on the most when I read that was the word envisioned. What
Mhm.
was your vision for this EP when you were putting it together?
I wanted to make music that I loved, that I would listen to in the car, that I would listen to on a walk, that I would listen to when I wanted to feel something. And I did have a clear vision of this 90s country song, I'm sorry, storytelling element to it,
Right.
but layered with how my voice is I just had there's a lot of just soul elements that can kind of that I think are braided in with that. But
Mhm.
I wanted to go against the grain of not doing some country. I love country pop, but I didn't
Right.
want to, kind of do what everyone else was doing. I wasn't really focused on making an EP that just did well on Spotify. I wanted
Right.
to really make some songs that if I died tomorrow, they would be representative of who I am as an artist. Not something that I just set out to get a lot of streams or get, to go viral on TikTok or something. No, and no shame. I mean, I'd love for something, to go viral, but like my goal just was I my goal wasn't to have something popular. It was to create art that was representative of me as an artist and that I would want to listen to. And that I think would inspire others and that other people would connect with me. I think that was the
Right.
big thing. I wanted people to connect with it. And that's why when I got here, I was like, I got to get good at songwriting. It's all about the story. And that's what I envisioned.
Okay. Um, Hang on. I had a question in my head that I was going to ask along those same lines. And as so often happens, and people that watch the show regularly can attest, my train jumps the tracks a lot.
Oh, no, mine does too. It's all good.
So what is it about your music? I knew it'd come to me once I pulled this up and I didn't even need it. What's so unique about your music that you feel like draws people to listen to it?
Oh, for sure. I honestly, it's the emotion. That's what I know I have,
Mhm.
um, and it cuts through. Uh, and I think that's what people respond to. It's like you could have the greatest singer in the world, like just technically, they have a beautiful voice, but
Right.
it's an unconscious thing of a listener where if they feel the singer isn't emotionally giving to the song, um, there's a disconnect there. But with me, you know, I I'm continuously working on my voice and trying to get better and studying and I'm in voice lessons and I do everything I can to up my craft. But one thing that I know and that no one can take from me is the emotion. Like I've always got that there because it's like I know when I'm in the studio or if I'm performing, I'm like, what's the message here? What's the emotion? Who am I singing to? And that's all. If I sound terrible, but if people can feel the emotion I'm singing, that's all I care about. And
Right.
that's really all it is. People want to feel something. And you can have and some of the best songs are like there's cracks in the voice and it's just something, but it doesn't matter because you can hear the heartbreak. You can hear that in the voice. And so it all boils down to emotion.
I don't think you've ever heard me sing, because even with an emotional song, it still is not good.
I beg to differ. You could. I think you'd be pretty good.
So,
Get a few sips of that whiskey, and you'll be good to go.
yeah. Usually after a little bit of that, there's no telling when I'm liable to break out, you know. So, I may even try, living on a prayer or something like that. I have no
I love it.
Have you ever had that struggle of self-doubt, that you just didn't feel like you were doing the right thing, like when you first moved to
Always.
Nashville?
My whole life, I've had doors slammed in my face. I'm not good enough. I'm not. I'm an actor as well. So that was, you just get. I started modeling when I was 13,
Mhm.
and I was, pursuing music. I wanted to perform, wanted to be on stage, and like, being a good singer, a lot of that is like good acting, which is all emotion.
Right.
But it's so funny bringing it up. I was just reminiscing about this time I was 16. I just got my license, and I was living in Oregon, and I had a go-see with which is like it's not an audition, but it's like you have a meeting with a client, and like you try on clothes, and they see if they can hire you, whatever. But anyways, they called me, basically called me fat, and I was kind of like, and I might not have, I don't know. It was just, I just felt horror. And I was like, oh my God, I do not want to feel. So I didn't like modeling. Because I got told that a lot, like comments about my body. It was not good. And I remember being 6, and I remember leaving that go-see, getting in my car. And I was like, I had this awareness, this like existential conversation with myself. And I was like, I'm 16 years old. I don't need to be told I'm fat. Like, this is not a good thing. And and so I was like, I'm not gonna put myself in this situation. But
Right.
Since then, I've had every door slammed in my face. Not good enough, not pretty enough, not thin enough, not, funny. I don't know, everything.
Right.
But I always, going back to your envisioned question, I've always had a vision of where I wanted to be, and who I am, and the stories I want to tell. And that's been my my guiding light, is like, I just have to put everyone else, all the negativity, I just have to just tune it out. But moving to Nashville, things have been so amazing since I moved here. It's as if God's wanted me here for a long time. And I just, like, finally I got here, and like, think a lot of things have fallen into place. And so many things have happened where it's like I'm getting little signs, like, keep going, you're on the right path. But yeah, I still struggle with, oh my God, I sound horrible. Why don't I'm like, and I do I like work really, I try to do all the things that, so that my voice is tip top shape. But sometimes if you don't get enough sleep one night, you're not going to sound good the next morning. So it's little things that are just a lot of times kind of out of your control. But I constantly struggle with self-doubt.
Right.
And it's hard because everyone's got an opinion. But at the end of the day, I'm just like, I just can't care what anyone thinks.
Right. Right.
Like, go make your own record.
Right.
You go
If
do
you
it.
think you can do better.
Yeah. So you just gotta find your North Star, just go for it. And like, you gotta tune people out. Because everyone wants their 2 cents. And
Exactly.
yeah, you gotta stay positive, and then you gotta work hard.
Right. With all of the doors that have been slammed in your face, and the things that you've been told, and um the I mean, the shaming, body shaming or
Mhm.
whatever, and things like that. Is it worth it?
Yeah, because it's what I'm meant to do. Um, but also uh, yeah, like I said earlier, when I was a little kid, when I was 5, and I knew on that stage, I was like, "I like this." There's always dark sides to every industry, and I think, going through that stuff makes you stronger and makes you realize that's not what I want. And having someone tell me that my body is not hot, or I don't know, like that's not then I don't that's not the path I want to go on. But when I'm creating art like my music and people are responding to it, there's nothing better than that, you know?
Right. Right.
Thank you, Lisa.
If you could tour with two artists, who would they be?
Luke Combs
Mhm.
and Carly Pierce.
Great. Great. I'm
That'd be a fun one, right?
it would absolutely be the best. I had the pleasure of meeting Carly before Every Little Thing. I mean, it was just released to radio,
Oh, wow.
and I got the pleasure of meeting her and interviewing her on the air at a station that I was at. And then we've had the joy of seeing her perform 2 at least 2 times, possibly 3, I forget. I know we just saw her back in June, I think it was June, yeah, with Kenny Chesney,
Mhm.
and, Luke. I mean, he's just Luke Combs. I mean, it doesn't matter what the guy does or says. I mean, he everything he touches turns to gold,
I know.
you know?
His voice, his songwriting, I mean, yeah, Beer Never Broke My Heart, Forever After All.
Mhm.
Um,
You talk about a storyteller now, he can take those lyrics and tell a story, you know?
did you ever listen to Refrigerator Door?
Yes.
I love that song. My favorite
Yeah.
line is like he calls Kent signed favorite work of art. I don't know, I'm butchering the lyrics, but
Uh-huh.
it's basically a work of art signed Kenmore 98. I just love that. I
Yeah.
love that line. Oh, so great. He's
That's amazing.
amazing.
Yeah, he's great. I got that CD when it first came out,
Mhm.
um, and I didn't really know a lot about Luke at the time. I had a buddy that was a songwriter of one of the songs,
Yeah.
and so I got it to listen primarily to that song, and then I just started listening to the whole thing, and then I got to where it was like, I mean, he's my guy. I mean, if I gotta, you know, it doesn't matter what, if, he's my guy.
Mhm.
He's the one. He and Garth Brooks are the
Oh, yeah.
2 that one of these days I will get to sit down and interview both of them.
Mhm. For sure,
That's
you
that's
will.
that's my interviewer's bucket list are those 2 guys.
It'll happen.
Um, and Luke, and both he and Garth have such an amazing story, and I love that. Um, and it's just I just can't imagine. It'd be great to have them both at the same time, but security would be so tight. I mean,
Yeah.
it would be unbelievable. Um, if if you could collaborate with a current artist, who would that be?
Oh, yeah, Luke Combs or Carly Pierce. I
Did
wanna
you not
I wanna
listen to
do a
the
duet. I
Yeah.
wanna do a duet with Luke Combs so bad.
Oh, well.
Um, oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he's only done one duet, and it hasn't been released to radio yet, but
Okay.
they are playing it on like satellite radio, and that was him and Miranda.
Oh yeah, I've heard it. It's good. I forget the
It
song.
is. It's really good. And it was so funny because I read or heard Luke say that he never thought, well, it was just, well, I take that back. And well, he really didn't do a duet with Eric Church. It was kind of like Eric just lent his voice to a song in a couple of
Yeah.
spots. But he said pretty much the same thing that he said about Eric Church when, they're label mates. And so that made it somewhat easier.
Mhm.
Um, but he's like, I never expected her to agree to do this, and when she did, I mean, of course, I think he was a little starstruck, you know.
Yeah.
But
I love Miranda
he's
Lambert. She's great.
and I mean, just amazing. They're both just amazing to me. My favorite, Ashley McBryde. If I had to pick my Mount Rushmore, quite honestly, of current artists would be Luke, Miranda, um, Ashley McBryde, and Old Dominion.
Oh yeah, I love Old Dominion.
Even though, I mean, there'd be more than,
Yeah.
Mount Rushmore is only supposed to be 4, so it's got to be a mountain. But hey, give me a break.
Ashley
Old
McBride's amazing.
She is.
I
She's
love her
super.
voice.
She is super cool.
Yeah.
One of those artists I've yet to see, but I will. I mean, we've not got to see her in concert yet. I don't even think we saw her in Nashville. I think we may have seen her the year before. No, I don't think I can't remember. I think we saw her this past February. My wife will let me know.
Mhm.
She's more. I'm like her. I've slept since then, so I don't remember. So you have had my buddy Dr. Dave got on, said there's more room on Mount Rushmore. Thanks, Dave.
That's funny.
So you're putting together a festival, and you've got 3 days. Now I know I'm gonna run into here, but I have to ask the question.
Uh-huh.
Each day you've got a different headliner.
Mm.
So beside Luke, Carly, and who else?
Okay. Oh, Lainey Wilson.
Yeah.
She is something else. I love her. Heart Like a Truck.
Mhm.
Have you heard that yet?
Yes. Yes.
She hits this note and holds it. The first time I heard it, it was just it was like a groundswell. She holds this note and it blows your mind. And that girl, I really I like her a lot. She's got
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did get to see her in Nashville.
Mhm.
And I'll tell you this quick story about that because she's known for her Liberty Bell size bell bottoms.
Yeah.
I mean, they're huge. And they put a video up before she came out, and this is at a showcase.
Uh-huh.
I think it was actually the New Faces show.
Mhm.
And she came out and they put up this video about, Lainey, and they're talking to all these people. And they're all like talking about the bell bottoms.
Yeah.
At the very end, they show Tracy Lawrence wearing a pair of bell bottoms. And I don't remember what his line in the thing was, but I know his producer he has a show called Honky Tonkin', and we carry that on my radio station. And I know the producer of the show, and we were standing there talking to them afterwards. And Patrick goes, "Yeah, I just texted Tracy and asked him about the bell bottoms, and he said they were actually Lainey Wilson's bell bottoms."
He could fit in them?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I'm really hoping that Tracy's very small because I don't want to say the other, because if Lainey hears that, I'm in trouble. But he said they were actually hers. It was hilarious.
That's really funny. I
But
haven't worn bell bottoms. It's been a long time. I don't know if I ever did wear them.
well, they're coming back in music. I can tell you that because a lot of the female artists I've seen lately have them on.
Yeah. I think she
Um,
started a trend.
yeah. I mean, I've seen a lot, and I'm just like, wow, boy, talk about bringing them back.
Hmm.
Is she from,
I think it's Louisiana.
I couldn't remember if it was Arkansas, Louisiana, somewhere down
Mhm.
there. But yeah, she was great in concert. I mean, we saw her. I think she did like 2 songs, and she was good.
Mhm.
Good. That thing's a man ought to know.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
It's a
I
beautiful song.
yeah, I cannot imagine any woman going, yep, yep,
Yeah.
that's right. So, where can people find out more about you?
Yeah,
And go
my
ahead.
website, it's just my name, noelletoland.com, and all my socials, Noelle Toland, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, uh, and TikTok, Noelle Toland Music. Yeah, I'm everywhere. I'm online. I'm findable. And yeah, I have the music video for Rise is coming out very soon. I'm so excited.
Okay.
A really special one. I can't wait. I can't wait for you to see it. I can't wait for the world to watch. So yeah, I've got that, and I'm doing a Christmas song, so that's gonna be out, which I can't believe. It's like I still feel like it's summertime.
I know. I'm like, okay, we're 9 days, 8 days away from from a business standpoint from the end of the third quarter of the
Yeah,
year.
I know it's nuts.
That's just unbelievable to me.
It still feels like December last year.
Yeah. Yeah,
This year just like flew by.
it has. I mean, it's gone by quick. And like I said, the weather has just been
Mhm.
wonderful. I love this weather. It's been so
Yeah.
cool. And I'm going to tell you, like I've told a few other artists before, but and I'm going to say this with people on here. Usually this is like the after party type of thing that I make the statement of. The kind of conversation we've had tonight is the kind of conversations that I appreciate so much because I've asked questions, but I mean, it's just been a conversation, and I love that, and I appreciate it so much of you being. I'm going to say it this way, and it's going to come out really bad. Being able to do that. I'm not saying that not everybody that I've talked to, I've had conversations with. So for those of you who might be
Well,
watching it, I've done that before.
thank you so much. Thank you for making me feel welcome and for finding my story somewhat interesting. It makes me feel good about myself.
It's a good story. I mean, it really is.
So,
And
so
I will say this: I did listen to some of your music today on your other stuff on the way home from work, and you guys have got to go hear this. I mean, it's really good. I think you've got. What was did you say you put 3 songs, 3 originals and a cover on the EP?
yeah, so the EP will have three originals and a cover. The first song I released it's called "I Want to See You Again," which is out, and the second one is "Sun Will Rise," and the third is a song called "Limbo," and the cover is a song called "Poor Man's Roses," which Patsy Cline sang many moons ago, and Steve Cropper is also playing electric guitar on that as well, and just blows it away. I mean, kind of pinching myself at that. So yeah, and I've so that's four tracks for my EP, my debut EP.
That's awesome. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. Go check it out wherever you find your music. It's all right there for you to check out. Nicole Toland, I'm sorry, Noelle. Nicole is her publicist.
No, but it's funny. Everyone calls me Nicole since I was a little kid.
Really?
And people always go, "Oh, why did I say that? I don't know why I said that." And like you, because you know people say you look like a Nicole. I'm like, no. Everyone, it's just like a slip.
Yeah.
One time, I know we're running up, but one time as a little
Oh,
kid, I was like preschool, and the teacher kept calling me Nicole, and so I told her, "It's okay, you can call me Nicole." And I go home and I told my mom. My mom's like, "What? Your name's Noelle. Come on." So the next day, she like marches up to the teacher. She goes, "Her name's Noelle, not
oh my.
Nicole." So it's people do it all the time. That I had a joke with that with Nicole, my publicist. I was telling him like I get it all the time. People call me Nicole. I think it's a hoot.
At least I have an excuse. But
Yeah.
and I actually know a Noelle, another Noelle.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is her
Yeah.
birthday around Christmas?
I'm not sure when her birthday is.
Mhm.
I don't know her that well, but
Yeah,
well, she and my ex-wife are like real good friends, and I believe she and Lisa know each other as well.
uh-huh.
And so it's
Yeah,
just
'cause
kind of it's not a typical name. Even
no,
with
but I was due on Christmas. So
oh,
that's
okay.
why I was born on the 26th. So but that's why I'm named Noelle. Kind of like
Okay.
Papa Noel, like Santa Claus.
Well, that's a good story in of itself. I should have asked you that from the beginning. That makes a lot of sense, actually, other than just something somebody came up with, you know? Oh, I don't know, my mom and dad just thought it sounded cool, you know?
Yeah.
And so but, go check out, Noelle's music. It's all over the place. Go, look at her website and her socials and, keep up with her and become I mean, I'm hoping that, everybody that's been on tonight we've actually had quite a few people on tonight. I'm hoping everybody that's been on tonight becomes a fan and, they can listen and, uh, for one, drive those streams up, you know, go listen on
Yeah,
the streaming platforms and drive those streams up.
please
But,
do.
you know, go, like and follow her everywhere and, just let her know how much you appreciate her music. Some good music out there by her. So go give that a listen. That's probably what my wife is doing right now.
Yeah,
And
I love
I
it.
don't know if you saw, she gave you my wife is very much an encourager too, by the way. So
She's so sweet.
see here, let me take, I'm gonna go there. There we go.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She,
I'm all about visualization and having a vision.
yeah,
You gotta have a vision.
she's been my cheerleader and she was a cheerleader in school. So I mean she's continued to do that. She only
Oh, that's
thought she wasn't gonna
awesome.
be a cheerleader anymore.
Well, you're a lucky guy, George. Lisa's a catch.
I I am. I am. I admit that a lot. Um, I tell a lot of the uh, folks that I interview, especially if they've ever met her. Some of them have
Mhm.
met her and they know. And she's not only a encourager, but she's pretty fun to hang around too. So
Yeah, oh, I
as you can
bet. Well,
tell.
we all come to Nashville, we have to get some drinks and
Yeah.
maybe we'll get you up on the karaoke stage.
Oh Lord. I don't know that you want to do that. This was my Bon Jovi comment a while ago. I didn't put that up.
Living on a prayer.
Yeah. I don't think I have underwear tight enough to hit those notes. Just saying. All right. Well, everybody, y'all have a great night and go check Noelle Toland out. She's got some great music out there, and I'll see you again. Noelle, thanks for coming on and hanging out, and we'll do a little after party chat here in just a second. All right. But everybody
Um,
else, y'all have a good night. We'll see you next time on Before Nashville.
And that's a wrap. Thanks for joining us. Be sure to follow Before Nashville on all social media and listen wherever you get your podcast. Tune in again for another country star of tomorrow on Before Nashville with George Davis. I'm Kevin Casey on behalf of Worldwide Fans. Have a great night.